Nick Cannon.
Oh. Cannon, bro.
Nick Cannon, I gotta keep it real, bro. Nick Cannon's a fucking joke. Nick Cannon, who on his podcast dropped, which was recorded like late last year and only just got released here in the last week or two, dropped some seriously anti-Semitic marks on his podcast and just really racist shit in general, actually, on the podcast. And Viacom, in retaliation, or not retaliation, but in reaction to it, just dropped him entirely, real quick. It just he was gone. See ya, bye. And really, any company would have dropped his ass because the stuff he said was well, it was wild and out. Is what it was. And now he's demanding, after being away for a couple days, he came out and said, "You know what? I'm not going to lay down and take this." And so he lied about trying to contact Viacom and doing a bunch of shit to like apologize and do the whatever. And he's like talking about the real story coming out and whatnot. And he's demanding, not only is he demanding that he is given full ownership of Wild 'N Out, but also that they issue a public apology for separating themselves from him after saying what he did. And he doubles down on the things that he said on this podcast. So in terms of what he said in his podcast, this comes by way of the U.S. Sun, just one of the many, many publications that ran this. Just the first thing that popped up on Google when I searched, because I was like, I wanted to know exactly what he said. And there's a video to it as well. In his podcast, Nick and Richard Professor Griffith, the former hip-hop Public Enemy member, who, by the way, Griffith said some pretty crazy shit and has continued to say some pretty crazy shit, which was a lot of the reason why Public Enemy no longer exists. So Nick Cannon, sitting next to this guy, said that black people are the true Hebrews and that the Jews have usurped their identity. Cannon said, and this is a quote, "When we are the same people who they want to be, that's our birthright. We are the true Hebrews." The rapper then discussed skin color and claimed that people without dark skin live in fear. And this is the follow-up quote. "And I'm going to say this carefully," he begins, "to allege that people who lack sufficient melanin are a little less. Those without dark skin have a deficiency that historically forced them to act out of fear and commit acts of violence to survive," he said. "They had to be savages," Nick said, adding that he was referring to Jewish people, white people, Europeans, among others. More to that, which he doesn't have here, but is in the video. He literally says something like, you know, the Nordic people, they're up in the mountains, they're avoiding the sun, they've got to be savages. And he said they are truly closer to animals, is part of what he said as well. Is another quote.
Dude, he's such a dumbass, dude.
And he praised Griffin as a legend. He said, "You're speaking facts. There's no reason to be scared of anything when you're speaking the truth."
That ain't the truth, bro. The truth is you're a dumbass. And you're a racist. He comes off as one of those, like, I'm black. I have black family. I know.
You have melanin, Jeff.
I do.
You haven't had to run because you have melanin.
For fuck's sake. You know, I know a lot of people like to think, just, white people are racist. Bro, there are racist black people.
Nick Cannon's one of them.
Nick Cannon is one of them through and through. And there's a lot of black folk, and I know some personally that are very, very, like, they are the term is racist. I mean, their look on white people and what they have done to black people for generations. I don't want to say they can't get over it, but they there's so much hatred for, because there's like black folk that are very fuck, I don't even know how to put it. They're very into black culture. Like it's hard to explain because I'm not like that. I just have been around it and I've seen it, like dinner table.
Is it kind of like the blame white people for everything kind of deal?
Exactly. Where it's like, we're in this position because of white people, or we're in this, the white folk trying to hold us down. We can't do, they're just so wrapped up.
And they be talking about like their neighbors.
Like just, yeah, like it could be, dude, it could be virtually anything. And it's like everything is extremely like black power. Like, I mean, like the house, the decor, like everything is just like, and hey, there's nothing wrong with, being black and proud and representing, your
heritage.
Your heritage. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's when you got dumbasses like Nick Cannon that ultimately is black and is a prominent black person in terms of like notoriety to some degree. I mean, yeah, Nick Cannon's a fucking nobody essentially in terms of like, the grand scheme of thing. And I don't think many people take Nick Cannon as word, but at the same time, there are people that actually listen to this dude. And his influence is heard, obviously. And I think he tried his best, even when he even said, I'm going to say this carefully, he tried his best to not sound like a racist prick like he is. And the way he talks behind the scenes, I can imagine.
Wait, if this is him being careful, what the fuck is the real one?
What does he say behind the scenes? You know what I mean? So this guy he is a racist. And he said it himself. I mean, look at how he looks at white people.
And this is racism. What he's saying is actual, like if you were going to say literal racism in the definition of racism, not like the expanded definition of racism that we use today, because we definitely have expanded what racism means when we say racism. This is truly this is literally saying one race over another superior for physical or whatever characteristics. He's talking about melanin being a legitimate thing. He talks about soul, melanin being soul, and so like soulless and shit.
It's nuts. It's nuts. It's like listening to I remember listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with I forget his name, and I just rewatched it like again the other day. Where somebody's gonna say his name, where the black guy was what infiltrated the KKK, and he became friends with the leader of a Ku Klux Klan, and he started like finding out what the Ku Klux Klan and stuff, what they believed in, and he started infiltrating them and changing their perspective, and he started like collecting their cloaks, and after he got people to like get them to realize what they were doing is wrong, but some of their like thought processes and the way that they looked at black people and some of the things is quite literally what Nick Cannon is saying, but on the opposite side.
Well, it's like the traditional, like if you go back in like textbooks and stuff when we were bringing slaves over and they were talking about cranium size and they were talking about brain size, it's literally the same thing, just in the reverse flip.
Daryl Davis, thank you. Daryl Davis. And if you guys haven't seen the Daryl Davis.
That's a crazy podcast, by the way.
That podcast is nuts, man. And it's an amazing episode. I've watched it multiple times. It's very enlightening. And there's like some really good messages and stuff within that as well. But what Nick Cannon is saying, dude, it's racist. And I'm happy that he's getting heat for it because it's ridiculous. I know a lot of white folk get called out on some shit a lot of times, but dude, there are tons of black people that say some ridiculous shit and that are straight up racist. And Nick Cannon, from what he was saying, he believes, like he actually believes the shit. This isn't like something he's just saying to say it, dude. You can tell this guy literally is like brainwashed and stupid. I don't know who he learned this from, but what he's saying is just
apparently
wrong.
The guy sitting next to him.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I know people are heated and it is what it is, but like, no, that is just, it's a big no here from me, dog. It's a no from me.
Yeah. Well, thankfully Eminem literally ended his career. So shout outs to M.
ended his musical career, and now he's about
Yeah.
to end his actual whatever other career he's got. So hopefully he got some money out of the Mariah Carey divorce because, or his podcast is, hopefully his podcast is doing really well and stuff, because this guy's an idiot, man. And I hope other people call him out too, like other prominent black people within that hip hop community and that BET circle or whatever else get going on. They call him out on his stupid shit because it's just dumb.
I think one of my favorite things to watch is occasionally stuff will pop up where on Wild Note, people when they're doing the rap battle section, the team rap battle, occasionally some people get on the show and they use the rap battle to like low-key say some legitimate things against Nick Cannon, but on his own show.
They just do that all the time, dude. We go on Wild Note and just punk him off, bro. And all you can do is just like awkwardly laugh about it because it's truthful and it's the only place.
We're all friends here, huh? And then inside they're going, nah, bro.